Good morning, everyone. And happy Valentine's Day. I hope you all got your flowers and your candy for today so that we'd have a start of a great day. First, I want to thank you all for coming here. Today, we are here to welcome our new police chief, Brent Larrabee. He comes to us at a difficult time, full of uncertainty, but with great opportunity for our department in our town. We have an opportunity today to move our police department to a level of excellence that will set the standard for policing in Connecticut. We will embrace that opportunity and work hard to get there. I'm confident that we are ready to take on that work together, the police force and the community working together to set a new standard, a standard of excellence, one that Chief Larrabee has the ability and the experience to lead us towards. Our officers are ready to interact professionally with all segments of our community and effectively address the challenges in our community. The problems of the past will become opportunities for the future. We will work to involve all residents and business leaders without regard for ethnicity, race, or gender in creating a bond between police and community that serves all our neighbors, where everyone deserves to feel safe and secure where they live, work, and play. Chief Larrabee's challenge in this interim period is to set in motion the positive changes we want and are willing to work hard for, collaborating with my office, the police commission, business leaders, members of the clergy, and the neighborhood groups throughout our community. The department can move forward today. I have confidence that Chief Larrabee will lead our department effectively and will work toward building communities of trust for our neighbors everywhere in East Haven. I'd like to turn this over now to Chief Larrabee to say a few words.
Thanks, Mayor. Well, one thing I've learned in public service is you never want to speak after a mayor because they take everything you're going to say and say it. Some of you may know that I worked for Dan Malloy, and Dan Malloy is a great public speaker, and you never want to speak behind him. Now I'm learning that Mayor Maturo is following in his footsteps as a great speaker, and I have nothing else to say. He's taken everything I was going to say positively to you. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the mayor for having this amount of trust and thinking that my ability will be helpful in East Haven. Those of you who know my background know that I've been in some pretty diverse places, certainly a lot bigger than East Haven, and that will bring me some wealth of knowledge that will help us make a transition for whatever we're going to do here in this beautiful little town. I hope to work closely with every member of every group of every part of the town. Mostly, on the first couple of days, I'm going to have to learn people's names, where to go, who to talk to, how to turn the lights on. I mean, very, very frankly, today will be a blur. Tomorrow will be a blur. I'll meet some of you folks today, and I won't remember your names. I'm sorry. It's just a function of my age and my life. I'm a pretty approachable guy. I generally get along with people. If you want to say something to me, I'd like you to say it to me. I'd like you to come see me, visit me whenever you want to visit me, within time constraints, of course. And that's been my whole history, and I give that to my mother and father. It has nothing to do with me. But the long and short of it is I accept this challenge. I believe that there's a lot of very good people who live and work here who want to take this incident and put it behind us and go on to be what I think is going to be one of the very best police departments, if not in the Northeast, certainly in the United States. And that is my goal. That's my promise to you. And believe me, I'm not a flash and dash guy. I'm kind of a little bit subdued, so you may not see me a lot in the paper because that's not my style. My style is more to work with you individually and collectively. I know this is a community event, and I know the newspapers and media would like to get to me, but in deference to the people who have come to meet me, they get the first shot. With that, that's my statement.
Thank you, Chief. With that, the Chief and I will answer some of your questions for a very short period of time, if anybody out there has any questions.
Mayor, can you just talk a little bit about the Department of Justice obviously did a big investigation. They said that they were reaching out to your office. Were they have any hand in this? Are you going to be working side by side with them as we try to move out of this?
I'll let the Chief answer that question.
Clearly, there's a blueprint out there, a document by both the Department of Justice as well as the PERF, or Police Executive Research Forum, did a study. Those certainly were going to serve as a blueprint as we move forward. Some of it's going to be mandated by external forces. Some of it's going to be mandated by internal forces. That is something that's going to take probably several days, if not weeks, for me to put in place. But that definitely will be something we will read and pay attention to.
Your first concern?
My first what?
Your first concern?
Again, and I don't mean to be gratuitous in my answer, but I got to find it where the lights are. You know, I got to turn on the computer. I have to meet the men and women of the department. I have to meet the men and women of the community. I have to meet the political leaders, the police commissioners, and all that. I mean, those are substantive things that have to be done before you can say I'm going to automatically embark on a policy or a policy changes. Those will come in time. They will come probably in measured time. We probably will have press releases as we move forward. You know, definitely some of these things have to be coordinated with the Department of Justice. You just can't. They're just not going to be without an eye toward them. We're not going to be able to do those.
Hold it one at a time.
How long do you expect to be chief? Do you expect to be permanently appointed?
Let me answer this. I'll be chief as long as the community, the police, and the mayor want me.
Chief, why did you take the job? What attracted you to becoming East Haven?
Well, my golf game had gotten pretty good. I guess I'm like most people in my age bracket. I've worked since I was probably 9 years old, the paper route, etc. It came at the right time. I thought about it. This has kind of been a whirlwind romance. It didn't. This hasn't been a long courtship. Mayor and I met after some friends and colleagues had recommended me to him. I looked at the situation. I talked to some pretty knowledgeable people, and I thought maybe that I might be the right person at the right time, and I might make some help here, be helpful to everybody involved. And when I mean everybody, I mean everybody.
Mayor, your office said that through this whole process there would be transparency, yet this morning we weren't able to see the swearing in. There's really been no statement other than today about this new appointment. Where is that transparency that you said was going to happen here?
Well, we did have a lot of transparency. I believe we mentioned it to the DOJ last week. We put out a press release earlier to let you know what was going to take place. Chief Larrabee and I talked about the swearing-in ceremony. We thought it would be best to have a private ceremony in our office. It was just the two of us with the town attorney. And then we thought it would be best to come here with all the news media we knew was going to be here. We thought it would be best to meet everybody all at one time in this room.
If I could follow up on that, whatever perceived or lack of perception there was about transparency, from this day forward, you will not have that problem with me and my administration. That's not a problem. If the DOJ says we made a mistake, we're sorry. If we're going forward, it will not be a problem. I can assure you that the people that I work with who will be tasked with picking a permanent chief will be very transparent. They'll be very inclusive. I say that because I have worked with those folks in the past. I know how they go about picking new police chiefs. I know how they convene community groups. I know how they deal with the affected group. And when I say affected group, you can't leave any segment out. Everybody has to be involved. It will not be a problem from this day forward.
Chief, what message will you give the department and anyone that are working in the department?
I want to give them a message of hope. I would think that I met several members today, and I think I know policing pretty well, having been almost 40 years in the job. Most men and women in the police department want to do a good job. They want to go about their business day to day, comport themselves professionally, and strive to do the very best job they can. The job.
You both support the reform of the state's anti-racial profiling law. And do you intend to?
Let me focus on one question at a time. The fact of the matter is, I have to bring them some hope. Whether they see me as long-term or short-term, whatever period of time I may be here, they have to see me as somebody who's been around the industry for quite a while, that probably knows a lot of the ins and outs, and probably will be able to help them get through this moment in time.
Do you expect both of you to lobby the legislature for reform of the state's anti-profiling law?
For the
PEN Act.
For the reform,
the past 12 years ago,
right?
It hasn't been put in effect.
Yeah, and very few police departments across the across the state turn in the data because there's been no real collection point for it. I'm not going to say I'm going to support or not support anything on it at the moment. I'd really want to be more schooled on it, to be honest with you.
What about you, Mayor?
I feel the exact same way. It's coming up in this legislature. I haven't spoken to my legislators who represent us on that aspect yet, so we'll wait and see.
Mayor, when you checked in with the Department of Justice about your choice, was there any response from them? Any concern?
I didn't personally make the phone call. You, Keith, our assistant town attorney, made the phone call from my office, and it was notifying them, reaching out to them, and that's what it was.
Will you guys be working with the Department of Justice?
We will, as the chief, I think, already answered that question and said, yes, we will.
And Chief, you've been in our state for a while. How would you rate Chief Gallo as a chief, as a fellow chief?
That's very unfair because I don't know Chief Gallo other than socially. I've met him a couple of times. I can't make that statement today because I don't know enough about the department. I would say that looking at your crime statistics and your activity, that they seem to be a fairly active police department that's done a pretty good job of policing the community. That doesn't mean I'm not a critic of Chief Gallo. I only know him socially. He and I share a very dear friend, and if he's a dear friend of mine, I have no comment on that. I can't. It would be unfair.
Chief, with 4 officers down and the feds telling us at least there's potential for more arrests, are you allowed to start looking at new hires? How is that going to work?
I don't believe there's anything that prohibits us from going ahead and hiring people. I would think that, and again, I wasn't so presumptuous as to think that I could call the Department of Justice before I was sworn in. It will be one of my first phone calls. It will be one of my, what do I potentially see as sanctions that we can or cannot hire, promote, whatever it may be. I'm well aware of what they can do. I'm well aware of what they've done in other communities in Connecticut.
What's
Go
your
ahead, Mark.
absolute top priority in taking over? When you go in, what's the first thing you want to get done, or the most important thing you want to get done?
There is so much to do. Remember, I'm an individual going in to a community with 50-some-odd police officers, none of whom I really know. So it's going to take me a period. The absolute first thing is, again, and I don't mean to be fresh about it, but the absolute first thing is to learn to know who people are. Learn who are the people who can make change, who can move policies forward, who are willing to work with me. And I have to say this for the police officers that are here now. There's going to be some reticence. They're going to say, "Well, this guy's only an interim. He can be here, 2 days, and he could be gone." So they're going to. I have to give them a level of comfort and give them a feeling that they can work with me. Right, because I work with them every day, and they're the ones who are going to carry my philosophy forward. They have to be the first people that I deal with, and they have to be the first that I have to deal with every day.
Just to be, if you guys don't mind, you're taking over a department that where morale is horribly low. The people who are good cops, feel as if they've all been painted as somehow bad because of what's been going on. You've got a segment of the community that clearly feels as if they haven't been treated fairly, and you have a perception problem both within and outside of the town.
Well, if anybody here in this room thinks it's going to happen overnight, that's ridiculous. We all know that. It's going to take time. But to a lesser or greater extent, I've seen this in several other police departments I've been in. And it's not, and morale is like the ocean. The tides come in and they go out. Police officers always talk about morale. Firefighters always talk about morale. City workers town workers already talk about morale. Here it's a little more profound, but it's not something we can't overcome, and it's not something that I believe I can help change. And I believe by being there every day, working hard, being with them, letting them get to know who I am, letting the community get to know who I am, I think I can help them in that from this point forward.
Mark, I think it's going to be a great asset to have a fresh new leadership at the top, and Chief Larrabee will certainly bring that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you both say how soon you plan to meet with Latino community leaders?
Well, I think the mayor has already put that in motion. There has been some outreach by acting chief, and he was trying to get some coordination of that. I suspect it will be one of the first things that will happen within the next couple of days.
We have already started that process, and as the Chief Larrabee just mentioned, I don't want to forget someone who's been helping us over the past, I guess, approximately a year in our police department, and he's been doing a yeoman's job over the last 2 weeks since we have had no permanent chief, and that's Chief John Mannion here, and I'd like to thank John Mannion for the job he's been doing. It's going to be, another thing that these two gentlemen are going to have to learn how to work together under these circumstances. And they just met this morning, and they will be very good working together. So, again, I want to thank John. Any other questions?
Just one last question for the chief.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Do you plan to hire more Latino policemen?
We plan to do all we can in our recruitment of police officers in the very near future, and we'll be working with outreach programs, and as the Chief Larrabee stated, working with the DOJ and people from the PERF to try to reach out and hire the best quality officers we can get in our police department.
How do you plan to approach the Latino community? How do you plan to approach the Latino community?
We'll be outreaching into the Latino community, trying to recruit Latinos. We'll be advertising out there. We'll be meeting with the leaders of the Latino community. We'll be doing everything we possibly can to have the Latinos apply for our police positions and any other positions we have in town. Go.
Chief Larrabee, the 4 officers who were arrested, can you comment about them? How do you reach out to them? If they're still in charge at this point, I know some of the civil suits have been dropped against a couple of the guys, too. What's the comment there, just how you fix all that?
I'm not sure that I can outreach to them. I've read the indictments. I'd have to seek legal counsel, whether I can reach them and talk to them. I certainly would like to talk to them on a personal basis. I'd like to know who they are. I'd like to know what about them. It's going to be difficult for them. I think there's some prohibition of them coming in to East Haven and to the police station. So that would be certainly. I guess I can reference this. In Stanford, there were 307 sworn police officers when I got there. Within a relatively short time, I knew each and every one of them by their first name. And not that I wanted to do anything other than there has to be a different relationship. They have to understand who you are, and you have to understand them, because they're much more complex than just driving around in a police cruiser. They have complex lives. They do a complex job, sometimes under very difficult circumstances. So they sometimes they kind of look at as a chief as not necessarily the chief. They sometimes look at you like their mother and father. So there's got to be a level of understanding, knowing. And even with the 4 that are currently under indictment, I certainly want to meet everybody.
Okay, we're just going to take 1 or 2 more questions. Anybody else have anything out there for either the chief or I? Okay, again, I want to thank you for coming. I hope this is a new start for our community. I hope it's a new start for our police department. And again, thank you for coming here. And if you want to hang around and speak to the chief one-on-one, I guess we're going to do that for a little bit. And I'm going to be introducing him to the rest of the people here in our room. Again, thank you very much.